Robert Pringle is on 5 pounds of sugar, and I'm Jason Trost. Thanks for coming to TRT Studios, and congratulations on your 5th book going live this week, Down Tubbs Lane. Congratulations, and thanks for coming to TRT Studios.
Well, I'm honored to be here. No doubt. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Book number 5, in the author world. If you make 2, you've done good. If you make 5, you're awesome, whether you sell any or not. Okay.
So we've entered the realm of awesome then.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There we go.
Excellent. And now Down Tubbs Lane has a little bit of a Bigfoot angle to it, or a Sasquatch angle to it.
Yes. Well, I was reading a book about Darwin, all right? Darwin, the famous guy with his theory of evolution and everything. And humans just didn't fit in that because they're not very fast. We're not. A lot of creatures can outrun us. Mm-hmm. We're not very strong. All right? A lot of creatures are stronger. Look at the big bear.
Mm-hmm.
Big bear's a lot stronger. We don't have any fur. We freeze. There's a lot of variation in temperature in this planet, and we are either too hot or too cold. We're very rarely just right. Okay? And there's a problem with childbirth, too. All right? Animal children are up and ready to run and go in a very short time, and they're ready to be on their own within 6 months. Humans take years, right? Ties the mother down, make sure, you're stuck in one place. Then I got to thinking about Bigfoot, and I said, well, wouldn't Bigfoot have been just the most awesomest creature? I mean, mankind could not have stood up to any kind of physical thing with Bigfoot. All right, why weren't they the dominant species on Earth? Maybe they were. Mm-hmm. There comes the idea. Who says they didn't evolve millions of years ago and become intelligent?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
You hear about them now, they suddenly appear in the woods. They suddenly disappear. You can't find any of their remains. Very, very few traces of them are found. Why is that?
You would think that would take quite a bit of intelligence to accomplish.
You would, yeah, something like that. But then that brings us back to why are humans here? Because if we're not really well adapted physically to this planet, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out. Read that book.
Nice. Now, is this the story with the young boy, young man? How did he become involved?
Well, this involves the campers. Okay, campers at the bottom of Tubbs Lane. All right, his aunt and uncle have a camp down there. And the child's mother, his name is Paul, was a horrible alcoholic. She lived out in Denver. Her husband threw her out and blah, blah. Anyway, the kid was autistic. All right, that's why the husband threw her out. He didn't want no damaged children.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up getting several DUIs, and she had to go to jail. She had nothing to do with the kid. She would lose him to the state if she did. So she took him to her sister, who ended up owning the camp at the bottom of Tubbs Lane. And I'll not say any more about that because...
Excellent. You and I have talked before about your belief that Sasquatch doesn't have a mean bone in its body, that it's got a good... you feel that their spirits are good. Is that reflected in this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Otherwise, why would they have put up with humans for this long? Think about it.
Yeah. And it just seems like there's such a lack of negative interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of the ones that would be construed as negative might be misconstrued or misunderstood.
Well, yeah, perhaps... Who knows? Sometimes people make up stories to bring attention to themselves, which is what a lot of people do. Unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah. And sometimes we project our own feelings and stuff on things.
Mm-hmm.
This book went live this week.
Yes.
That means it's available online on Amazon. Is that who you're going through?
Yes, Amazon. It will go into the other book online sellers also, like Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, things like that. Eventually, yeah, they all take their time. Excuse me. Amazon puts it up right out because with the publisher I went through, they're intertwined with that. So.
Is that available on Kindle too at this point?
No, not yet. That's a separate order on my publishing package, and I just have to wait on that a little bit.
One step at a time?
Yeah. Well, it costs money. Yeah. And money's the problem. So that's with everything.
Yes. It even when you've hit the awesome level with 5 books.
Yeah. You still have to have money. So
do you sell a few locally too?
Yes, I do. I have a book rack which features local authors plus myself down at the Kiwi Diner in Tionesta. And that's the only place I do that at, although I am thinking about going into other things. People just seem to have bad luck, though, when I go to their stores and put their stuff in. The lady down in Franklin, very nice lady, she took 2 of my books, immediately sold them in 2 weeks, right? I was very happy. This is my first book. And then she died. Another lady in Franklin wanted to sell my books. She did. She did great. She sold 3 or 4 of them, and then she went out of business.
I was thinking of stocking our shelves here. Maybe,
I don't know. But no, I don't know. For me to sell them locally, I have to buy them myself.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to invest.
Right.
And
plus, I have to compensate whoever's selling them. And so I make a couple bucks, about same as on Kindle. So,
nice.
Something like that.
Very nice. And this is your 5th book. How long has it been since book number 4?
Oh, it's been about a year and a half now.
And book number 4 was?
The Light on Pigeon Hill.
Okay.
All right. Which talks about the ringing rocks you can find in the forest. When you hit them with a hammer, they'll ring like a bell. And why it's important.
You like to have a little bit of that paranormal running through
Oh, that's my roots. Paranormal, yes, indeed. That's how I actually got into writing books, was through paranormal discussions.
Very nice. Very nice.
I was on a forum with a thing called Paranormal News. A man by the name of Jeff Bent was the person who ran it. And it was all over the world. And so I discussed things with people from everywhere. And it was interesting. And he would do things like have book reviews and stuff. And I read this one book, and I said, that's such crap. I can write better than that. He goes, oh, yeah? I bet you can. I said, you're on. That's how it started.
And here we go.
I had no idea I could do it. I was being ballsy. All right, so.
And kind of basically put yourself into a position where you have to put up or shut up, huh?
Right, and I did.
5 books later with Put Up.
Right.
Excellent. So we started basically with a bet and having to put up or shut up, and 5 books later we've hit the awesome stage. What device do you use to write? You're not hammering away on a typewriter like they used to, or doing it by hand.
No.
What's the process of writing for Robert Pringle?
Well, I have a laptop that was given to me. All right. Very old laptop. Okay. It works though. And I'd go in, I make my coffee, and I look at the screen for a while, and then let the idea circulate, and I'll write for a while. All right. Then I'll just run out of steam. And it might be 2 days, it might be 2 weeks before I sit down and do it again. It just depends. And all this time I'm thinking in the back of my mind subconsciously of what I want to do and where I want the story to go.
Now, do you start right at the very beginning, the first couple pages of Down Tubbs Lane? Were those the first couple of pages written, or does it get pieced together?
Oh, no. I start with the title. All right. Then I go to the first sentence. Then I go to the second sentence. And it just goes on until I'm tired of writing. And No, until the story's told. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I don't want to make a joke, but
it's basically one foot in front of the other. Then
yeah,
one step at a time.
Right, and then when I finally get done writing the whole thing, I start the edit process, and that takes probably twice as long as it did to write the book. Because I want to go back, I have to polish the sentences, I have to make sure the timeline stays correct in the book. The story moves along at a pace that I want it to. One good way to do that is sit there and read the book out loud to myself.
Okay.
If I could get to a part where I mess up, I said, wait a minute, why is that word there? That shouldn't be there. Okay. Let's see.
And I've noticed from proofreading my own work, a lot of times you can bypass things really easy. And where reading out loud would probably eliminate that bypassing, because you know what you were saying, but there's something about your eyes that tricks you, and it shows you that it's there.
Yes, indeed. With the back cover, I had that. I wrote the word dominate when I actually wanted to write dominate or dominant.
Okay.
Excuse me. There I.
Yep.
Right, and I didn't catch it. Somebody else caught it, and so that would have been bad.
Yeah.
The first book I can screw up if I want to, because everybody knows your
first
book is going to
right?
suck, right?
Yeah.
It always sucks. So, but now at this point, I should at least have some command of the English language. And,
You should be a little polished because we're hitting the awesome stage.
Right? Yeah.
What was the first book?
It was called Trouble in Tionesta: How the World Should End.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just a conglomeration of conspiracy theories that all came together in one big perfect storm. Okay.
And then what was next?
Then I did Pit Hole Where the Devil Danced. Why fracking is bad. Okay. Some people may not agree. It doesn't matter. Actually, I think it's a good thing. But frack down a little bit too far, you might hit something you don't want to hit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
that kind of goes back to H.P. Lovecraft and the Necronomicon. Don't call up anything you might not be able to put back, right?
Right, yeah. That book is a lot political, though.
Is it?
More than it. And just how politics works. And if you read the book now, you'll see it in the headlines.
Very relevant to today.
Very relevant. As a precursor to today, actually.
Me and my mom have a piece of property on Pit Hole Creek over just a hair downstream from Stone Arch Bridge.
Okay.
And we've got 30 acres along the creek there, and I love that creek. It's a beautiful stretch of water, and we're actually the last dwelling for 2.5 miles until it empties into the river at Oleopolis.
Yeah, it was a story a local guy told me about Pit Hole, about when they were building the building there, the museum. All of a sudden, this guy, all dressed in black, big heavy wool overcoat down to his ankles, gloves, hat. This is the middle of July. He's standing there, no sweat, nothing. He starts laughing and says, "What the heck do you think you're doing?" They told him about the museum and everything. He goes, "It's great. I get more people." And they turned around, he walked away, and he vanished right in front of all of them. All right? Was sworn to by the people that work there.
Government employees.
Yeah, right. Well, not state workers. We can't call them government employees. Actually, they are. So that was pretty interesting. And that book intertwined with the fracking and what was going on, and it just came together. So.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Now, when you have it all, when you've finished writing it, you've proofread it, you've had others proofread it, what's the next step after that? Is that turning it into the publisher? Do you convert it? What kind of a file do you convert it into even?
Oh, I just put it on MS Word file, my computer, whatever that is. I have no idea. I barely know how to use a computer. So, but I sent it to the publisher. All right. And she says, "Okay, send me a bunch of money." And I send her a bunch of money, and then a couple weeks later, she goes, "This is crap. Redo this, blah, blah." And then we create a cover, and it's out.
Now, it's just live this week. When did you finish? When did you make the final sentence on it and start the whole process of going from there? How long did it take, has it been since you've finished writing the book?
Finished writing the book, you mean before the editing process?
Yes, okay. Yeah, just the final sentence is read.
I wrote the final sentence probably in February, I believe. But I had been editing before that, so it wasn't that bad. But I still had to re-edit the whole thing, everything. So, and then that went until the 17th of July is when I sent the book in to the publisher.
So basically, close to 6 months or so, give or take.
Yeah. Well, I work at a very stupid pace. I just, whenever I feel like doing it. I'm not making a huge amount of money here. So, it's not. But it's all right, So,
how many years ago was it that the first book came out?
That was 2014.
2014?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're kicking them out pretty good then.
Yeah, about one a year I average, something like that.
That's pretty cool. That's very cool. Yeah. And so Down Tubbs Lane is available now on Amazon. Uplifting story with a boy and Sasquatch. Very good.
Well, it concerns the entire human race, but I'll let you read that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's
Excellent.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tommy Cooper.
Hi, I'm Jason Trost.
I'm Nick Marvin. Welcome to Cryptovania, a show about the unexplained and the unproven.
We are not finding or discovering Bigfoot.
Because we already know he exists.
And you do too.
We're not looking to get cryptids on video.
We want you on our show, and the world does too.
We want to know what you know,
how you know it,
and when you first knew it.
This phenomena is exploding.
And we all know this.
Everyone from the Bob Gimlins of the world
to the soccer moms and cul-de-sacs.
The knowledge is everywhere.
Come be part of the latest phenomena. Cryptovania.
I'm Jason Trost, and I'm with Robert Pringle, author of, among other books, the Nebraska Bridge novel. Nebraska Bridge it's a fascinating place. What was your first connection to Nebraska Bridge in the town of Nebraska?
Well, my wife's father went to school in the town of Nebraska. Okay, and he was telling me about it. And we went down. I saw the bridge. It was nice. It was cool. And I never paid much attention to it. Just part of the landscape. But after seeing what it goes through during the winter, and emerges unscathed, I'm more impressed every year. Because there's times there's stuff piled, there's whole trees on top of it.
It makes for fantastic videos and pictures.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody made a nice video not too long ago of the ice crashing into the bridge, and it just standing there. It's amazing because the bridge was built in the 1930s. All right, before.
I always refer to it as the little bridge that could.
Yeah.
And it's steadfast there. And now your novel, Nebraska Bridge, it spans from the start of the town all the way up into modern day. There's a lot of history there.
Yes, I had to research that. I learned about the Lacey family. The reason why I got named Nebraska was always kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
So I sort of made up my own little, it works, I guess. I don't know. But, and I went up through there, how the town of Nebraska started with the logging and everything, because it was just a perfect place to make a big, holding area for the logs on the creek. You don't need a lot of water to float a log, but you do need some.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect. And then it just built from there. They started a sawmill, then they built boats, and they did,
Yeah.
But they would raft them together, sometimes 4 or 5 logs at a time. And these guys would get paid $1 a day to ride these things down the creek, where you break your leg at any second or drown. And of course, in the 1930s, $1 a day Well, it's pretty good money.
Yeah. And I think Lacey himself, did he do that also?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Oh no, I'm thinking of Collins.
Oh, Collins, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Collins
T.D.
did.
Collins,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a young man. He come out here. He had an inheritance. And he came and he said, I can make money with these trees.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what he thought. And he did, obviously. But he started out cutting them down by hand. And
and they would send them down the creek and then eventually down the river to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And that's a heck of a journey.
Yeah. And big log rafts then. They would tie 50, 60 logs together. And we're talking huge logs, These, It's not the ones like today, like this. No.
Yeah.
These are big logs. Because that was all virgin wood then.
And they could easily roll and catch. And,
right. And the ropes always caused them to come back and forth. Yeah, it was you had to be nimble and quick.
Yeah, light on the toes there.
Right. Yes, indeed. But that created the whole industry there.
Now the story that runs through, including the dark entity that kind of takes place there. Did you come across that as a story elsewhere, or is that a Robert Pringle and
the germ of the story came across a place down in, I think it's North Carolina, called the Devil's Walk. And it's a place where nothing grows. It's just a circle. And people would camp there and wake up 10 miles away the next morning with all their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened there, right? This happened with a group of Boy Scouts, actually.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then there's another place up in Canada I was reading about where there's big piles of deer bones where the deer would all come like the elephant graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay, another strange thing, And I said, I wonder what would cause that, And I was reading a story about microbiology or something like that. And I said, oh, ding. I got the thing. So we had a comet come down and crash or meteorite or whatever. And I left this spore in the ground.
Yeah.
And but it was an alien spore, and of course, it had to survive. And the only way it could reproduce itself was through a certain type of blood enzyme that the human body produces when they're having sex. Right? It was this optimum thing to reproduce.
Yeah, and that's what it fed on, and so
right.
it creates the atmosphere for that.
Yeah, because we don't know if these molecules or whatever they are intelligent or not. Mm-hmm. How would we be able to find out? There's no way to communicate with them.
It could be intelligent life right here on the counter, and we don't know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, everything, like the one guy said, I quoted him in one of my books. He had a speech called "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom." They were talking about microbiology or micro things at that time. And then he said, but you have to remember one thing. Everything goes down micro, but it also goes macro, too. Mm-hmm. We're sort of stuck in the middle somewhere. Right? Yeah. We think. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know nothing.
We don't know for sure. We think we know.
Yeah, we think we know.
And you did a fantastic job of building characters all the way through time, and I find myself thinking about those characters at times. Congratulations on that. Very well done.
Really, yeah, and his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. And I found myself cheering for him and hoping that this turns out well. And I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. I really wasn't sure where exactly you were going with it. And I was really hoping that things would turn out well for him. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that, and as to whether it did or it did not.
Yeah, poor old. He's a good dude.
How long have you been a part of Tionesta?
I moved here in 2000. 2000, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Up in this area. I was living in Seneca before that. And my job died because of the regulations with China.
Mm-hmm.
I was making pianos, and it was cheaper to buy a piano in China, have it shipped over, and sell it than it was to build them here.
Oh.
Because of the regulations and the...
Mm-hmm. And even from lumber from here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, the basswood and cherry and such, all the...
Right. So that job died because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that job. That was great. I could build all kinds of furniture at night. I'd let me have all the scraps I wanted to play with. I loved it, you know. But it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
it amazes me about Tianesta, like the Facebook group Tianesta. It's based out of a town that's got, 200 people in it, maybe?
450, give or take.
And the Tianesta Facebook group has, last I checked, like 13,000 people in it.
Yeah, we were up to 15,000 at one point, and a lot of people don't. I don't know why they don't. But, it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's all the campers.
Mm-hmm.
All right? There are 5,000 camps, at least, that I know of. All right? And there's more than that. And they all have a tie to Tianesta. Okay? Which is cool. All right? Because if I just wrote books about Tianesta and depended on the population of Tianesta to buy them,
you could, very limited audience.
Might sell one to my wife if I give her the money.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it's cool.
And it's kind of an amazing thing to me is that around here somebody from that's not from here wouldn't think that we would be very social media savvy, but really it's permeated life here. You can't throw a family reunion without putting the invites on Facebook.
Right.
On politics and outdoors and stuff, people reaching out and having contact with, all corners of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it just amazes me with the Nebraska Bridge Facebook group. It quickly, within just a few short months, had over a couple thousand people in it.
Yes.
And it's just a little bridge in the middle of nowhere.
Well, we tried very hard. I'm one of the administrators on the group, which I was honored to be put on there. I didn't know. We tried very hard to keep politics off of there. And any type of altercations between people, because people always argue, or whatever. They don't like something, somebody does, we try to quell that as much as possible. We try to make it lighthearted about Tianesta, about the wildlife and everything. Why you want to come to Tianesta and see all this stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Another big problem we're having with Tianesta is we're losing everybody. We lost our store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, God, that was the heart and soul of Tianesta, was the grocery store. It's gone.
Yeah.
Why? There's nobody there. During the winter, there's no business. What we need to do is bring people in.
Mm-hmm.
And technology, like you were talking about, is the key to that. If we could find people who earn their money online and wouldn't mind living in an almost crime-free, low tax, low rent, you can't ask for a better place to live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you have a good way of making a living, it's a fantastic place to live.
You don't even need a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is, because it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. The people are nice.
The country is beautiful.
Right. Once in a while, we'll have a criminal pop up. Once every 2 or 3 years. What do they have in the city? It's every day. Every hour, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So, you want to have yourself a nice family place to raise your kids? Tianesta is the perfect place.
This is 5 Pounds of Sugar, and we've had Robert Pringle in TRT Studios for the last hour. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and very good luck with Down Tub Lane. We hope it takes you to the awesome plateau.
Here we go. Off to the awesome. Thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And good luck.
There we go.
Excellent.